And the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, roll call, please.
Mayor Chuck Davis.
Here.
Councilman Mike.
Here.
Councilman Corey Oxford.
Here.
Councilman Bud Barkers.
Here.
Councilman Gary Liddy.
Here.
Hey, we'll have an agenda item. Any questions? Concerns? Do I have a motion to pass the agenda as read?
I'll make a motion to pass the agenda as read.
Have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Approval of the minutes from the September 2nd meeting. Any questions? Any changes? Do I have a motion to pass the minutes from the September 2nd, 2025 meeting?
I'll make a motion to pass the agenda
No, the approval.
or the approval. Yes,
of the minute.
you know what I mean.
I have a motion to pass to approve the minutes from the September 2nd meeting. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We'll go through the bill in two portions. Deposits in the amount of $274,109.70. Accounts payable in the amount of $217,434.03. Transmittals in the amount of $47,954.37, and payroll in the amount of $43,774.87. Are there any questions? Do I have a motion to approve and pay these bills?
I'll make a motion to approve and pay the bills.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, I have one more bill to pay. It's the Barker's collision for vehicle storage. You give us a little explanation on that, Chief?
Yes, it was an impound vehicle for investigation that had been crashed. Lieutenant Morris impounded it due to it being reported stolen after the crash to complete an investigation, and this sort of thieves while it was being stored up at Barker's collision for the investigation.
Okay. Hey, that impound fee is for $1,400. Do I have a motion to go ahead and pay Barker's collision?
I'll make
$1,400.
a motion to pay Barkhurst Collision $1,400.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain?
Abstain.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to correspondence.
There are none.
Okay, we'll move on to items from the public. I do not see none. We'll move on to council comments and the replatting of the subdivision up the old Baldy Club. We handed out that information last week. If you guys got some information that you want to share or you're against it, please get it into Jen so we can get it sent off to the county. Okay. All right. We'll move on to reports from departments, town hall.
I have a quote in here for our server. Last year, they quoted us for a new server, $25,845.74. We decided to wait it out.
Wasn't that for two?
There was the server and then the backup. Pine Cove has since gone to a new system where we don't need the backup. So the quote is, $18,346.06. Our server is at end of life, so there is no warranty on it. So replacing it is our call.
So we're back to the same discussion we had a year ago. Do we need to replace the server? Open for discussion.
We do have a backup though. If this one did go out, we have a backup.
It has a backup, yeah, but it would
The
still be-
information's backed up.
Yes, the information back.
So if it goes out, we would just have, it'd be downtime until we got the new one in.
Yeah. I don't know, as long as that one's working, I would think, let's keep it working. You never know, some stuff lasts.
Is it having issues? Doesn't seem to.
So that's, yeah.
And it hasn't had issues in the past.
What all's on this server? Is that kind of what controls the town's website and all your network of computers, including the PDs or just the town
The
halls?
PD has their own.
Their own server.
If it did go out, how big of an inconvenience would it be? A big one?
Well, everything that we run, our accounting software. On the server. It'll take a long list, didn't you say like 2 days, maybe, to get it replaced?
Really, just 2 days?
If it quit, and there's no guarantee on a new one.
It's just under warranty. If it goes out, they replace it for nothing.
Yeah.
That's the only part of it.
Well, I think maybe we ought to try to make it another year, whatever we can do. That's just my thought, but if it's working, why break it or fix it? So, it works good and everything right now, no problems.
How would you manage things for the 2 days? Be down,
Yeah, basically, if anybody called in to make payments, we'd just direct them to the online for them to do it themselves. They can still come in and drop their payments off for their water and sewer bill, and then as soon as it was up, then we'd be able to process it.
to be able to manage it, all right.
And even if it was. Even if it was the last day of, before you got charged a late fee or something, I mean, we can work with that too. You wanna put that, somebody wanna put that in the form of a motion? Not,
I'd make the motion to keep what we have for now. To not purchase a new one.
have a motion on the table not to purchase a new server at this time. Try to make it at least one more year. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, we'll move on to, do you have anything else? We'll move on to the police department.
Mr. Mayor, Council. Last couple weeks, I didn't bring the exact numbers, I think we had 88 calls for service. During those past 2 weeks, we have had approximately 5 or 6 AOAs with county and highway patrol outside of town where we've responded to crashes, motor vehicles, a domestic and encampment. During that domestic, Lieutenant Morris and Officer Lear both responded to it. Once county got there, they took over, had the scene controlled. Officer Lear and K9 Zeus were called back to do a K9 search of the location, to which they did find narcotics, and a subject was arrested for methamphetamine and marijuana possession off of the K9 search. So the dog's been doing good, getting out, been getting probably at least a week so far. So that's been working out pretty well. Past couple weeks, we have had several complaints of different things at the hot pools. So we have increased patrols. I have each officer doing at least 3 patrols a shift, walking through the hot pool area, keeping an eye on everything. Hoping that'll help calm issues we're having. Other issues that have come up have been kids and electric scooters in town. So we need to address if we want to start going down the road of adding city ordinances regulating the electric scooter use. I have spent the last couple of days doing quite a bit of research. Have found other ordinances out of Laramie, Rock Springs, Jackson, Cheyenne, that we could base our ordinances off if we want to. Some of the most common things I have found is the actual age restriction on them. What they have is 10 years old and older. Most of them require a helmet. They almost all have a speed limit of either 15 or 20 miles an hour for the electric scooters. And all of them are not allowed on sidewalks. They have to be rode on the far right side of the lane of travel. When using crosswalks, they have to get off and walk them across and such. So what I'm wanting to know is if you guys want me to work with Patrick, outline what we think we would want for ordinances for electric scooters, and if you want to pursue that option.
And when you say electric scooter, are you talking about like motorcycle type scooter, or are you talking about the thing that looks like a skateboard with a handle on it?
Well, by state statute, they're defined as electric skateboards. Then the definition of them, hold on, let me pull it up so I'm exactly correct here. Sorry, motorized skateboard is what they call them. Motorized skateboard means a self-propelled device which has a motor or engine, a deck on which a person may ride, and at least two wheels in contact with the ground, and which is not otherwise defined in this act as a motor vehicle, motorcycle, motor-driven cycle, or pedestrian vehicle.
So the single tire skateboard thing's illegal.
So then the single tire ones are not addressed in state statute, but that is addressed in Laramie's ordinance, to where instead of using the electronic skateboard definition, what they call is an electric personal assist mobility device, which means self-balancing, non-tandem, one-wheeled or two-wheeled device. So it covers the scooters or those new monowheel things. Is designed to transport only one person and is powered solely by an electric propulsion system producing an average power output of no more than 750 watts. And I would recommend looking more of a definition like that to cover the one-wheeled devices also in our ordinance. That way we're covering multiple things at once rather than have to come back and readdress the same issues if we want to do this.
What are the problems you're having with them? I guess would be my question. What's spurring us to look at this?
There's been complaints of kids, couple kids most recently, had two actually witnessed by officers, have gone just one straight out from the grocery store in front of a car doing 40 miles an hour, shooting across to heading over towards South River. Had another one the other night that he thought he had looked and it was clear, but he pulled actually out right in front of an officer over at East River and Bridge Street. Riding up and down, of course, the sidewalks are narrow, riding up and down the sidewalks of Bridge Street, just interfering with pedestrian traffic and motorized traffic.
I've been approached by two different people now on them. This happened all between last Friday and Monday, and one of the concerns that one of the people had was you can't hear them coming. So you don't see them, like a regular motorcycle, you can hear the motor, but these you don't, and then all of a sudden they appear. And then the other guy was just, neither one of them were complaints.
They were just,
Like a direct hard complaint. There was concern that one of these kids is gonna get hurt on them, and
You don't hear bicycle either. It's going the same speed. It's supposedly supposed to go by the same laws.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what all these ordinances also say is they have to follow the same road laws as vehicles.
Small problem into an issue.
Would it apply to electric bikes? I see a lot of those around.
I can see both sides.
Most of the electric bike ones are actually addressed in their own ordinances because then they're broken down into 3 classes by state statute, depending on wattage and power.
Yeah, okay.
And we could look at adding that also for those ordinances too.
And I've seen the kids riding the scooters around, but
We have several of them that's.
They're on the edge of the
school every day and.
yeah.
well, and I'm sure after hours, they take them in on the paid playground part they have.
That I don't know.
Yeah, hey, at the car show last summer, they were in the middle of it riding around, not hurting anything. I'm not complaining. The only thing I could see is out of everything, it's possibly a helmet. You know, because if you do hit your noggin, you're probably gonna hit it hard.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but this is up to the council. And why John brought this up is I went to him and I said, look, I got some complaints or talked to about, and so did he. Same way with the issues at the hot pool. That's why we have to, police presence over there. So, and we're still looking at 1-inch shoe. And I've got to wait and talk to the attorney about it.
And at what?
One issue, we had some, 1 or 2 transgenders down there.
There was a couple complaints spread out over enough of a time period. We assume it's 2 different people, but we can't be for sure.
Yeah, so I've got to talk to the attorney about that.
Oh, dear.
So anyway, that's why they're being more present down there. It was also brought up, I was asked, what's a golf cart? They have the slow moving vehicle sign, that's in the ordinance. So. Yes,
My wife rides a scooter, probably most of you are aware of that. Is that, it says scooters, but you're not meaning the 4-wheel.
Correct. The mobility assistant devices of like hover rounds or the electric wheelchair, stuff like that are not applicable to this.
Okay, thank you.
Well, how about we chastise these kids really hard? I do the bunch that hang at Jet, he's got one. And there's always a bunch of those boys at my house with them, and I'm always on them. And we pound it into them before we make an ordinance to, I don't know, what do you guys think?
When you seen them pull out in front of you, you make contact with them or you just witnessed it basically or?
This one last night or the night before, I don't believe he actually made contact with them.
No, he didn't.
Lieutenant Morris on the other one up at South First at the grocery store, he did make contact. He followed them and talked to them.
It was Jet last night. He fessed up this morning. As soon as he got to my house, I think that's the first thing he said. He said he looked really good and he didn't think anything was coming. He pulled out and he said it was a police car right there. But he fessed up. He knows he messed up. Yeah, I hate that these kids are all having so much fun on them. And for the most part, I think they're pretty safe. I don't know. I think maybe just chastise them right hard here for a little bit. Give them a chance.
we could get more input on it.
Yeah, and the ordinance I was looking at isn't, we're like the age limit at 10, it's still, I don't think we have anyone under 10 riding them.
Mm-mm.
But a lot of them do regulate it to where you can only have one person on there, because I have seen several where there's 2 or 3 kids.
I've seen that
on the
as well.
scooter riding around.
Yeah.
It'd make it so where they couldn't do that. You can only have one person operating it.
Yeah.
Keep them off the sidewalks and operating it safely, but with.
We went all over New York City with 2 people on them because we'd have a kid on in front of us and we did them. Ones you do with the credit card.
Yeah, well, it's like it's growing up 70s, 80s, we'd had at least 3
They're allowed.
bikes, one on the handlebars, one pedaling, one standing on the pegs.
Yep.
They were allowed on the sidewalks there
Yeah,
I think we
because that's a safer spot for them, in my
too
opinion.
strict, pretty easy.
Well, yeah, I agree. That's why I told him that needed to come before all of us.
Yeah.
Maybe, print off a few of those ordinances that you got,
yeah, I've got,
pass them out for us to read. And, you know,
And we could,
maybe advise your officers to
make contact.
make,
Yes.
just talk to them nicely and tell them, you know, we're concerned for their health.
And I'll burn a copy of this packet for each of y'all to look at all the other ordinances I have found if you'd like to.
That sounds,
One thing I did find that surprised me in Laramie is UW actually does not allow the motorized scooters on the UW campus at all.
Really?
Yeah. All the rental ones over there are actually.
That's an awful lot of people in a small area though, in a concentrated area, so I can see that.
beginning to look like Hong Kong and
City was.
there's so many, some.
being on the sidewalk, do your.
DC is where it was, it's where we were on scooters.
Yeah, well, you're seeing them all
Yeah.
over in the larger cities, so.
If we could get copies of those ordinances that they have, and I can show the kids that I know, this is what's gonna happen if you guys screw up. I'd like to give them a chance, and not just because Jet rides one, but the other boys too. Like I say, they all seem to be having a good time on them and everything. And for the most part, I think they're fairly safe. We just gotta pound it into them to be more safe.
Sounds good.
That's be my thought. I don't know what the other guys
Your
think.
contact.
I'd agree with that.
Friendly contact, just contact.
Yeah, or if we see issues,
Yeah.
discuss it with them.
Maybe it'd be a good time for you to meet with them at the school.
Yeah, we can talk to the superintendent and principals about maybe having a little meeting about them up there,
Yeah.
have an assembly.
There's a lot of adults riding them also anymore, but you, of course, an adult's gonna be more aware and everything than a kid, but.
Not necessarily, but we. hope
Maybe.
so. All right. All right.
Another thing I did have printed out, I was gonna touch on, that you touched on also, was the golf carts complaints. We do already have a city ordinance regulating golf carts in town. That's 10.36.050. And it says golf carts, when any such golf cart is operated upon or parked upon any public street or roadway, including alleys within the corporate boundaries of the town of Saratoga, said golf cart shall display a slow-moving vehicle triangle on the rear of the golf cart. And it also does state that you must follow the local traffic regulations and it must be operated by a licensed driver. So as long as you have a driver's license and the slow moving vehicle triangle, according to our current ordinances, golf carts are okay in town.
Okay. And
My next item, let me find my agenda here so I don't get completely lost. ORVs. We've had complaints about ORVs in town, razors, side by sides and such. Currently, it just falls under state statute, and what we have adopted as town ordinance for registrations are required on ORVs also. So if you don't have a registered license plate, you cannot drive on the streets of Saratoga. Which I think I brought this up this winter. Do we want to look at making designated ORV trails throughout town? Or ORV licensed, just having the ORV stickers, not actual full registration for people to get through town or from, say, the resort rents them. I discussed this with them a couple years ago when I was still with the sheriff's office. Since those are owned by Polaris and rented out from the resort, Polaris will not allow them to register them. So all they have is the ORV stickers. Under our current ordinance, if they rent them, they can't drive them out of town. They have to be trailered out of town.
Yeah.
And then people take off as soon as they get to Stone Gate starts ORV trail.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we want to look at possible ORV trails through town. What I had thought of was basically Bridge Street, Pick Pike, and South River, so the people from the grocery store could get down and over out that way or get to the gas stations also. Is one of the options I looked at. If we don't want to go, then Cameron went every town street is an ORV trail. I don't know if we want to go that far.
What difference does it make? We run in,
That is-
when we go to Moab, they got a designated street. So half the places you can't get to because you can't go on the other streets. Because you can't cross the main drag. And it used to be just where you could go on anyone, so you didn't have to trailer everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I think what people are bringing up is the amount of them you see anymore. I mean,
Oh,
they're,
yeah.
There's a pile of them, but I haven't seen anybody that.
Look at the amount of cars you have. Look at the amount of Harleys you got.
I know, and the amount of cars you have are all plated and registered.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and if you're gonna use one of these like a vehicle, which a lot of people do.
Which I license mine, but.
Yeah. Is what I'm saying. Is when the people come and talk to me about it.
Yeah.
What are the complaints?
A lot of
There's
states,
a lot of them.
a lot of states
And
won't let them.
not it wasn't, it was more of a question than a complaint. He says, what about the side by sides and that? And I said, they have to be registered to run on town street. They have to have a license plate. What about the ones that don't? I said, that is totally up to law enforcement.
And a lot of states won't let you register them. Cause they're off-road,
And that,
vehicle.
Yeah.
ORV,
but Wyoming does, and it-
but they're safer because they have a 5-point harness and a roll bar and they just don't have a horn.
not all of them have the 5-point harness, so.
Almost all of them do anymore, except for like the ones you sit down in, the
Utility ones.
Rangers,
Yeah,
utility ones.
so,
And they're mostly ranchers. and-
so what I'm saying is just, you know, if you're gonna have law enforcement and they're supposed to obey the laws,
Mhm.
what are you gonna do with all the ATVs that's running around that doesn't have plates on them and everything? Just turn your head?
And I honestly haven't seen that many of them, like, other than
Rentals.
like the rentals.
Correct.
But I mean, you know, I live on 13th Street. They go by there all the time, making a loop.
And that's an ORV.
whatever, and-
Once
And
they
they're,
get out.
they're
stay low.
usually always
Yeah.
plated and stuff, so.
It just, it puts law enforcement in a bind and it actually puts us in a bind. Are you gonna enforce it or just turn your head? That's how I look at it.
So that's the
How would
direction
you,
I'm looking for.
how would you go about labeling these streets that are designated ORV? Would you just put signs up?
ORV map that's available, it'd be posted on the website, what the authorized ORV trails are through town.
So it'd be easier to pass something that said if you had a ORV sticker, that you'd be legal on the Saratoga streets.
It would cover everything except for First Street, a state highway.
Designate.
Make legal for ORV stickers.
Yeah.
They can be crossed at 90-degree angles.
Yeah.
That would be the, yeah.
Easiest for you, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah, that'd be easiest for me, but I don't know if that's what I'll do it however you guys want to. If we can do, we do.
Well, I think if they've got an
An
ORV
ORV trail or.
on them, then they are registered to some degree.
Correct. Yeah, you have to give more information for a resident ORV sticker, just like the snowmobile, than you do for an out of state. For a resident, we have to give VIN and all your information. For out of state, you just go pay the $25.
You do get a sticker, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Supposed to be displayed on the left front corner panel.
Left rear, isn't it?
No, left front.
Is it?
Yeah, I think it's the same as snowmobile, both on the left front. I'd have to read it again, but I thought that's what it was, so I'd stick mine.
Anyway, that's, what the council wants to do. Or,
I'd say we need
More
to
information.
discuss it more with other people too.
okay, we can do that.
We want to have a public hearing to get other local residents' input on it, or
That's,
open a comment period, maybe?
uh,
You could just open the comment period, probably.
maybe send out some direct mailers. What's it cost to send a direct mailer? Stamp?
And to have a development sample is 700 probably. I'll get with you if you want, if that's what we want to do.
Yeah,
Let's look into a couple of options.
So if we're gonna attack them, we're gonna have to attack these scooters because they're electric. They have no license plate. They have no sticker.
They're,
Everything else, we're gonna have to go through. So you're opening up a huge can of worms.
but how long did
Has
it
it been
turn
an
it?
issue, really?
What's that?
Has it been an issue?
Just a few complaints.
Complaints or questions?
Mine was question. His has been complaint.
I would say there's been complaints of them being called unregistered vehicles.
Yeah.
Technically, they are.
Mine was more of a question when I got cornered on that.
Hmm.
And I guess, what is the complaint? Just the fact that they're unregistered?
Yes,
But if they've got an ORV sticker on them, they're not unregistered.
but it's not meeting what statute requires for the registration of the MPVs and ORVs.
They drive on the highways, not necessarily in
Driving
the
on our
municipal streets.
No,
By state statute, all public roadways, alleyways, 2 tracks are highway. Any designated roadway is a highway.
And we don't have anything on the books pertaining to this particular issue.
Correct.
just that it's a public street and they're unregistered vehicles.
Correct.
That's what you have. So you're,
Under the city ordinance for registration required.
basically, you're telling your cop to turn a blind eye.
Would there be a way to, like, maybe they could, like, the inn, the ones they rent, that we could sell them, the town could sell them a permit where they were legal?
That's what Craig, Colorado does. Sells,
And
the
what-
town sells their own sticker.
Right, and we can absolutely do that, sell our own vehicle registrations for them to be able to.
But that still doesn't meet state statute.
No, but it'd cover the city ordinance, which would take care of us on everything except for the actual state highway coming through 13230.
That might be the way to go.
That's the same way we'd get away with designated as ORV trail. It doesn't meet state statute, but they allow you to set your own rules for the roadways, just like our speed limit adjustments from state statute and
And
everything
you
else.
probably rode in some areas where different ORV trails are made on width.
Correct.
There's some up in, the Grays River, I know, are only, 48 inches.
Mhm.
Most common one, Lincoln Park, the Stump Hollow Trail is supposed to be 48 inches or less.
And why do they do that?
They do that so the unlicensed drivers are allowed to operate on those trails. It's no longer made a roadway if the vehicle.
Because it's only a skinnier width?
Yep,
Because there's some that are 60,
yep,
some are 70.
yep.
Oh, I've never seen it.
My theory is they do that to divide and conquer, but that's my theory.
Yeah, the reason the smallest one though is
To
so
get the 40-inch people against the 60-inch people, they were on our trail.
Well, I mean,
And what difference is, if it's a side-by-side trail, it's a side-by-side trail.
Right.
It's the same vehicle, only it's barely wider or skinnier.
one seats 4 people, one will seat 1 person.
Yeah,
I kind of like the
One
idea of
smaller.
the town creating their own registration,
Yeah.
I do too.
but how would that be to track and do?
Don't know. We'd have to look into it and definitely something like that, we'd want to talk by the attorneys.
Yeah, I'd have to run that by the attorney, but I would assume it would work a lot like dog licensing. Or Rollins, town of Rollins actually requires a bicycle license. You have to pay $1 a year for a sticker legally for a bicycle in Rollins.
Yeah.
Same sort of thing. And we wouldn't know if we don't see one, we stop them and then.
But I'd like to also hear a lot more public comment on the issue.
Yeah.
Before we just go to making decisions. Chuck's got some in the back.
Come forward so we can hear you, please.
I have a side by side. I used to license it, but it's very expensive. Let's do not Californiate our town. Also in the winter, I do a lot of snow plowing. And other little ones do too. They use the streets. Is that illegal? I think,
Is it, and it's not plated, you said you quit plating it?
yes, I did.
Do you leave tires on it or do you put tracks on it?
Pardon?
You put tracks on it to plow snow or are you using tires?
Tires were changed.
Okay. So then, yeah, technically that would have to be registered if you're driving on the street.
so why would a tracked one be different than a tire?
Then it becomes a snowmobile and we have a different snowmobile ordinance where you just have to have a flag and a muffler.
I think we're Californiate our town. And I would be against anything like that. Like I said.
Well,
I think our easiest answer would probably be if I get with Emery and we send out a questionnaire mailer and see what we get back.
Kind of feedback you get back.
yeah. Yeah, I would definitely, and this was just brought up for discussion tonight. It wasn't brought up to act on
No.
or anything like that.
Yeah, because I would like very much to hear what the public thinks about it.
But it does put them in some sort of a position.
Understandable, yeah,
It does.
understandable.
All right. You have anything else on that?
No, that is it.
Get with Emery, keep us posted on what you're doing.
Will do.
Okay.
All right, so the next thing actually on the agenda I have is a quote from Uline. I'm looking to get 2 tables and 7 chairs. It'd be 1 table to go into the new interview room. We have actually pretty well finished the remodel of everything over there. If you guys get a chance to check it out, it's quite a bit different than it used to be. Offices have moved around and we did build a separate storage. What used to be the chief's office, I've now turned into storage and a separate interview room. We never had an actual place to do interviews other than just right in the middle of the office with everyone coming and going. So now we actually have a quiet, private place to do that. So with this quote, I'm looking to get a table to put in there with some chairs. And I'm looking to add a small round table and some chairs in my office also for meeting with people, having a meeting table in there. From Uline, it comes to a total of $2,073.40. And it would be coming out of my capital equipment. And the reason it's Uline is it matches all the rest of the desks and furniture I've gotten. So everything over there matches now too, and are pieced together hand-me-downs.
So what's the council think?
I'd make a motion to go ahead and buy the office furniture for $2,073.40.
I have a motion on the table to go ahead and purchase this office furniture. I have a second.
I'll second it.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
All right, thank you. Next item I'll be addressing is kind of multiple items in one. So this goes back to last meetings. I brought up the firearm trade-in and the quote I'd received for trade-in. I was asked to go out and get a second quote, and I did. I got updates to actually what's in the packet. There's been some changes last minute, and I didn't want to make Jen redo everything, so I just put out new handouts for everybody.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I got one for you too. I can find it.
Thank you.
So the quotes had come in. My initial trade-in quote came to $2,910 is what we were offered for the firearms in question. I was asked to reach out to Coyote Sports, which I did. To purchase the firearms, Coyote Sports offered $4,609, which of course is $1,699 more than the initial quote. We have to decide which quote to go with, which I think is kind of a no-brainer on this one. My request for it, if we go with the higher quote, is to still allow me to use those monies to purchase what I had planned on getting on the trade-in from the other place, which are the items I have listed below, which would be the 6 Streamlight ProTac 2 long gun kits, which is light kits for the new rifles. And those are $154 each. So that comes to $962 total, including the shipping. Next would be 6 Streamlight Stryon 2020 with the piggyback chargers and a spare battery, which are $263.20 a piece. And that would be one for each vehicle, the flashlight and charger with a spare battery. So that comes to a total of $1,579.20. The quote I received on that does not include the shipping yet. He didn't get back to me with the quote with the actual amount of them to calculate the shipping today. And the last item would be the Point Blank Guardian ballistic panel carrier with pouches, which is the bulletproof outer carrier that everyone's wearing now. This is one for Lieutenant Morris. He had actually never received one. He was out when we ordered the other ones for everybody. And that comes to $780.30. So if we do the higher quote of $4,609, I'm asking to spend the $3,321.50, plus whatever the incidental shipping is on that other one, probably about $30.
well, do this in 2 stages. I get a motion to go ahead and approve the sale of these firearms and everything to Coyote Sports.
I'd make a motion to go ahead and sell the firearms to Coyote Sports.
Discussion? Or do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? And that, how much was that quote?
$4,609.
Okay, so. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. You can sell those now,
Now, part two.
the equipment.
Yes, to make the purchase from Rock Solid SST for the gun lights, flashlights, and ballistic carrier totaling $3,321.50 out of the funds from the sale of those weapons.
Did we have any money left in, didn't we buy those carriers with grant money or a donation or something?
We had gotten some original ones a couple years ago from donations from Angel Armor. And that was originally just, I believe, the two carriers. One had gone to Tyler Christian and the other one was to, it was actually for Lieutenant Morris. And then while he was gone, because Sergeant Lear's panels and equipment were expired, he had taken Lieutenant Morris's.
Okay,
You didn't get the one back from Tyler?
Well, we don't have any Sasquatches that'll fit and he uses it, we work.
We'll say who's, yeah.
so so you went ahead and did the final on that, on the carriers that we had, or did Mike take care of it?
That stuff that was donated through Angel Armor was all done even prior to my starting here.
Okay, I was thinking some of it, what he bought recently, or the gray carriers were from that.
Correct. We got two of the gray carriers. All the other ones we have actually bought out of capital equipment. I've done it in a couple stages.
Okay,
And the other thing we got out of that grant was the heavy panels, the rifle panels and plates, which I got separate carriers for those.
okay. What's the council want to do here?
I would make the motion to go ahead and buy this equipment with this money from the sale of the firearms. We'll have change left over.
I got a motion to go ahead and purchase this equipment or allow John to purchase this equipment for $3,321.50. There probably be a little bit of shipping tacked onto that from the one item. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Thank you. Last item I have isn't on the agenda. I actually forgot about it until last minute. Back to the generator to the building swap over saga. After a couple attempts, the most recent attempt, they actually were in town, we're getting ready to do it and came to the realization that the building is three-phase, the generator is single-phase. So the quote in labor has changed. We initially approved back in March, I think. The initial quote was $14,800 to switch the building over. And that was bringing the generator around to completely take over everything to the building. But with it being three-phase, we can't do that without either A, buying a $25,000 three-phase generator, which I kind of nixed, or paying to have carbon power downgrade our service to single-phase from three-phase. So what we decided would be keep our existing generator. They would put in a different panel. And basically all the rest of town hall, instead of coming in the way it was at the main coming in, it's going to be all back, separate panel on the police department side to where we'll still be able to power everything, but we're going to want to limit our usage where we're not trying to run everything on the generator. So the new quote actually comes to $9,500 total. So it's actually $5,000 and some change less than the original quote, which we've already paid $7,000 deposit for the work. So out the door, it should not be more than $2,500 more. So I'm just needing to get the new quote approved. That is at a savings of $5,300-ish. And they're scheduled to come Friday and do it.
So we'll have enough to run computers.
We'll be able to keep the computers, lights on. We just won't be able to have every light on in the building. This is gonna give us the furnaces. We cut out the ACs. I'm not quite as worried about keeping it cool in the summer, but I am worried about having heat in the winter.
Okay. All right,
This will still keep all of our computers online, all that functioning. We'll just be selective on what lights and areas we're using at a time.
okay. Chair would entertain a motion to go ahead and approve this new quote of $9,500 from, what's the name of the company?
Plus electric.
Plus Electric.
I'll make a motion to approve the new quote.
Okay, I got a motion on the table. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
All right, thank you. That was everything I had for tonight.
anybody have any questions for John? Okay,
All right, thank you.
okay, we'll move on to the fire department. I'll go touch base with two of them tonight, the chief, James. It's like they had a total of 7 calls, but not all of them were like hot calls. Some of them were wrecks out on the highway. Some of them were for just an alarm that went off at their buildings. And that's since the 1st of September. Since then, they had their SCBAs, were all tested and approved. Their, compressor is all approved and working. The equipment for the ladder truck is starting to show up. It's coming in. They still got to work a little bit on the radio system. And they're doing some work on their pager system. Dude, I don't know who actually does their work. Is it Motorola or Comcast?
It's been a combination. They've had this most recent pager reprogramming is being done by Apex Communications out of Rollins. Because they're doing a lot of the work for County Fire on their new simulcast system.
So, any questions on the fire department? Okay, we'll move on to the recreation department, which Jim's gonna take care of since Carter's on vacation.
He has listed, he would like to purchase 2 desks for his office. We were gonna table that until he is here.
Yeah, I would ask the council if they're in favor of tabling that, so Carter can explain more to us when he gets back. You guys good with that, tabling?
Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll table that till the next meeting, Jen.
And then, the next is the new hire for the recreation director assistant. The committee interviewed 4 applicants. And they had advised, Amelia Anderson.
Okay. Who was on your interview committee this time, Emery?
The same as we did with the past, people, including Carter, me, Megan James, Joe, and Carter. Well, Carter was on there this time too. And we had 4 pretty good applicants, which was nice to see that we're like providing a good job for somebody. So we're getting good interest, and there was, people who were close, and we felt like she had some qualities and experience that kind of put her above the other candidates. And that's why Carter went with her.
Okay.
She has
And
been a gym supervisor in the past too.
Yeah. So, we advertised that at $21 an hour. So the chair would entertain a motion to go ahead and hire Emily Anderson at $21 an hour for recreation director assistant.
I'd make the motion to hire Emily Anderson at $21 an hour for rec director assistant.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? Yes, sir.
How many hours?
She'll be a full-time employee.
Okay.
Any additional questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. This for your information, this is replacing the one we had that quit in the early spring, that resigned early spring.
Thank you.
Okay. Department of Public Work, Mr. Emery.
Drag out the sleeping bags. It'll take Emery a long time.
John's gonna be longer than that. I'm trying to make sure. We'll just start on the list there on number 16. The new truck we had got in a year and a half ago. We put some money in the budget to get a spreader for it. Just with the size of the dump truck, the options are limited. So I reached out to a few dealers last year when I was getting prices, and these guys, DTI is willing to, they're a dealer and they would do the install also. I haven't heard anything from the other dealers I reached out to. These guys were responsive. It's actually who we got the truck from, so they're aware of the truck. They built the bed for it and everything, so I think it'll be pretty easy for them. About a 5 to 6 week lead time. And it is stainless steel, which will be nice, and it does come with the stand.
Will they come up here to install it, or do we have to take?
No, they deliver it down there, so we'll run the truck down. It should only take a day to get it installed.
I see.
Everything goes right.
Questions?
They're in Casper?
Well, these guys are out of, it's right outside of Denver. It starts with a W.
Westminster?
Westminster?
Wellington.
I think, yeah. Something not as fancy as Wellington.
Did we budgeted for that?
Yeah, I think I had 38 in there.
I'm in favor of it, and that's what we got the truck for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Motion?
Hmm?
I'd take a motion.
Would you? Ain't that something?
I'll make a motion to purchase the spreader for $36,590.95.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Eddie Embry.
Rocky Mountain, we did have one more 41-day ad period for the chip seal out here. We didn't have any claims or anything, so this is the last 8,900 of that project that gets released and everything's done. We're required to do that by state statute, so that came up in a half ago, I think, from when they were completed with it.
Okay. And everything's holding up good. Do I have a motion from to go ahead and finish the payout with Rocky Mountain Sand and Gravel for $8,905.14?
I'll make the motion to pay Rocky Mountain Sand and Gravel $8,905.14.
Final payment. Do I
Final
have a
payment.
second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Okay, moving on, we do have a guy out of the streets department who handed in his resignation. William, he was good to have while he was here. He was reliable. He did what we asked him to do. I think he's gonna go back to doing what he knows. So I'll just read it real quick. To whom it may concern, I would like you to inform you that I am resigning from my position as a street operator for the town of Saratoga effective September 25th, 2025. Thank you for the opportunities for the professional and personal development that you have provided me during my time with the town. I've enjoyed working for the town of Saratoga and appreciate the support provided me during my tenure. If I can be of any help during this transition, please let me know. Sincerely, William Paddock.
I think he did us a pretty good job.
He did.
Do I have a motion to go ahead and accept Williams' resignation?
I'd make the motion to accept Williams' resignation regretfully.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Are you wanting to apply right away?
Yeah, I would like to advertise and looking.
Do I have a motion to go ahead and have Emery start procedure for rehire, for a new hire?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Yes.
What we have been sitting and waiting for some feedback from YDOT on our pathway from the rec center up to the high school. I did hear from them last week and we are tentatively approved for that grant. They felt confident that we would get formal approval and we're setting up meetings and stuff already. So I did include their kind of reminder of what the budget was and everything. So it's up to 1.4 that we could receive towards that project. So
Fantastic.
Nice.
Fantastic.
be excited about that. There's a lot of nubbins to button up with that thing before we get it out to bid and everything as far as paperwork, know how grants go and whatnot.
Sure. Good job. Thanks, Emery, for that one.
Thank you guys. We all did it together.
Well, you've been very diligent about it. Thank you.
No, and I appreciate the community on that. I did want to make a point to say that was in the stamp plan that people took time to come to the meetings and participate in. So like this, I hope will give people confidence, like if we do a plan, we are going to try to execute things that come up in the plan. So I appreciate everyone who took the time to drive to the meetings, do the surveys. Like that's a big proponent of getting that grant. We have the project out of a YDOT plan. So thank you, everybody. Moving on to number 20, this has kind of been an off and on discussion since even before I've got here, is the sewer and water and streets department being able to have a GIS system for storm drains, the water and sewer. EA has one that is built. COPA has built it off our as-builts over the years. Not gonna give way to conversation about just getting it, and of course that's not gonna happen. I also didn't want to go under some kind of contract of like, hey, we hold it. You guy who's pay so much annually to keep it updated and they would own it. I want it. I want to own it. I don't want any kind of hook involved in it. So this invoice is us paying them to hand over that GIS system for the water and sewer in the streets. And then we can update it. There's a pretty simple program that's cheap called Diamond Maps that you can run on a tablet or a computer. The guys can take pictures in the field, upload it to locations, add in lines. It's pretty simple. And so we take this and we would just build on it. It's shape files.
This is basically just a computer program.
No, it has all of it. So over the years, Craig has taken all of our as-built from all of our water and sewer lines and built a map that has manholes, valves, lines, line types. And he hosts it and he has it in what's called shape files. And those go on your GIS programs so you can view them, edit them, data collection off of them. And those are done on very fancy programs, but they have cheaper municipal programs that don't have all the extra stuff. That's what we had where I came from, and it worked slick. Run it off your phone. Hey, you do a water leak, take a picture of the repair, you upload it to that location, and the dude who goes and digs it up 10 years from now just looks on his phone and pretty handy in the middle of the night or in the middle of the day when you're, what line's over here, what valve's there. And the nice thing about this is it's not someone who dug through water plans or whatever that's built off as built. So more accurate than we're going to get from anywhere else. And probably a bit cheaper if we solicited and had somebody start from scratch. $250 to $275 an hour for GIS techs to build. That's going to go fast.
Well, I think
we did put some in the budget to cover this between the streets, the water and the sewer.
I think we need it 100%. So. Chair would entertain a motion to go ahead and purchase this GIS system from Engineer Associates for $40,000.
I'd make the motion to purchase a GIS system for $40,000 from Engineering Associates.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Quick, a couple of things. We had a lot of people talk to John's guys, and I tried to get it out to the paper about the temperatures of the hot pool. Those fluctuations are related to how the swimming pool plumbing is plumbed. We did take some data temps and stuff at the end of the year on the heat exchangers. I think there's an opportunity to make some improvements next year. Me and you need to replumb some stuff and change how that water is discharged and how much water we're drawing out of the well so they don't every time we turn the pool on, we don't have this flip flop between the big pool and the little pool. So we did change that, turn one of the big pumps off a couple days ago. So those are stabilizing back to work for pool season. I think we're pretty confident we can fix it. So everybody, they're not breaking, they're not nothing. It's us. Now we're pumping it in. So that's one thing I wanted to get out there. And I tried to send that to the paper and get it on Facebook and.
Can I add a little bit to that? Yeah, I think it's great, and just all of a sudden, people started talking a little bit about it, and I was approached about the temperature, and I knew nothing about it, so I'm asking the public, when there's problems down at the hot pool, please let us know if the bathrooms are a mess or if the water's cold. Because a lot of us don't go down there, so we don't know. So please let us know. I want to get that out. And I'm sure everybody will take that very seriously. Okay.
And then the West Bench projects, going pretty well. They've been cleaning lines and cameraing lines, getting ready for the CIP liner guys are going to show up. They'll be doing things simultaneously with the open cut. Kind of calculating on what we've done so far, we figure we're about 16%, 17% of the way through the project. Once we get the CIP guys in here, that'll bump that up quite a bit because they're going to line a lot faster than we can dig. So we'll kind of keep you guys updated on that. The river projects, we're on to the permitting phase. We got pre-filing meetings next week. Keep that ball moving along. Hopefully that goes well and that process doesn't drag out.
Good.
You guys got any questions?
No, you guys have been doing good jobs.
Thanks. Planning and zoning, third and final reading of our ordinance. Barry, I know you were gone. We did get the update in there for clarification for the mismatch fusion in there.
So Miss Jen, would you read that?
Ordinance number 887, ordinance amending title 18, chapter 18.15, section 18.15.030 and 18.15.050, as well as title 18, chapter 18.18, section 18.18.030 and 18.18.050, as well as chapter 18.21, section 18.21.030, 18.21.050, as well as chapter 18.24, section 18.24.030 and 18.24.050, as well as chapter 18.27, section 18.7.030 and 18.27.050, as well as chapter 18.06, section 18.06.070 of the town of Saratoga Municipal Code concerning accessory uses, accessory building setbacks, heights and placement requirements in residential zoning districts within Saratoga, as well as the clarification of setback definition, setback reductions, along with built prior to the establishment of zoning regulations in Saratoga, provide an effective date.
Thank you, Jeff.
Good job. That's, I don't think I can get through the numbers.
Could have been an auctioneer.
Yeah. Okay. Are there any questions? Do I have a motion to go ahead and pass ordinance number 887, title 18, chapter 18 on its third and final reading?
I'll make a motion to pass ordinance 887, title 18, chapter 18 on the third and final reading.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
One more time for discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Make sure that gets published because Emery's gonna be a busy boy for a little bit.
You lady.
Moving on, we did take the proofs I got from Enoch from Wild Signs back to the planning commission at the last meeting to go over them, and they were making sure they were kind of congruent with the scope that we had approved to send him. The scope we had sent him that was approved by you guys. There were some changes with the pedestrian signs that what he sent back was significantly different than what we had sent him originally. I think his designer, it looked like just kind of sent something standard. And we had something smaller that was a little different. So anyway, I got to get with him on that. The vehicular signs, we just got to make sure we have the right street names in the right spots. Those were design wise were good. But immediately or in the near term, they like the gateway signs. The gateway signs haven't changed from what you guys approved. And we want to get those, they're quite a ways out. So we want to get those on the docket and get them building those, which would be the signs coming into town and the signs going out of town. So the ones in the packet, they're the same as they've been from the beginning. They require 50% paid before they begin manufacturing. We don't show up and pick them up. They can't really sell them to anybody else. Saratoga, New York, whatever. So I would like to get those moving if you guys are okay with that. They're quite a ways out as it is, 14 weeks. So
if we get them ordered now, 14 weeks, we could put them in the spring.
yeah, that'd be the plan. As soon as the ground, freeze or thaws, we got to pour a bait for them.
I have a motion. Go ahead and approve, give Emery authority to go ahead and order these signs and pay them 50%,
Yeah, that's the 13,952. There's an invoice in there showing that.
$13,952 for these gateway signs for Saratoga.
13,986.17.
Oh, I was thinking. What?
986.17
Oh,
according to
yeah.
the invoice.
13,986.17.
Yep.
Okay, somebody want to put,
I'd make the motion to pay the 50% down. The 13,986.17 so you can get it started.
do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
So, we did have a zone change application come in, so the public planning and zoning will have a meeting on that at their next meeting. And then you guys will get that. You guys will also, by the ordinance, have to have a public hearing on that zone change application also. The special use permit was approved for the dog pound, to go up there by the dog park. Pending we make sure we deal with any water discharge from like cleaning or whatever in accordance with any state standards, which was actually a pretty good point. So kind of troubleshoot how we do that because we don't have a sewer line up there. And we can't be putting the leach fields in. So
on that, you're not gonna have an architect go out, are you?
no, I got to talk to some guys at DQ and stuff and make sure we're not going to do anything that's.
Okay,
Couldn't you put a deal to wash out and go to a tank that you had pumped once in a while?
Yeah, and that's what I think we're coming to. Not a leach field, it's a tank. We got to pump it out. We don't let. Sure, you get it.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
good idea.
Okay.
Okay. Which that's gonna free up a bunch more room, well, not a bunch, but some room.
Quite a bit. That's the way that thing pokes out back there. It'll help.
Them in their parking lot.
Yeah, so we did do a little bit more work over here, so we got a place to put this salt shed. As we more and more clean up and develop, there's more room over there than it looks.
Good deal.
Well, it ain't a long-term thing to move that.
Ideally, yeah. So I mean,
That's a long-term plan.
yeah, so. In the near term, we'll do, a little here and there so we make it work for what it is.
Anything else?
No, as Water and Sewer Joint Powers Board, it's kind of a monthly report I'm doing for them and updating them. So I'll just start kicking you guys a copy if you want to, in your free time.
Also,
Thanks.
that, this year, aware that money we transferred from them into their wild class account made almost $30 in interest. In a few days. Yeah,
Short amount of time.
very short. So,
I think it's very cool that they're working with us and trusting us with their money and we're working together. I think that's good progress.
oh, yeah.
I do have one question for you, Emery. Did we ever get anything back from the state for the highway about signage at the crosswalks over here at Ridge and First? Somebody asked me about it again the other day and I just wanted to re-mention it.
So we had the turning counts come in and John printed those out and made those available. And then we did have the meeting. We updated you guys after we met with Ralph.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did that last meeting or meeting before briefly.
Yeah, and then I did actually hear from Taylor, was it weeks ago, about rapid flashing beacons? It's something that we could look into, but they're kind of vague on whether it's warranted or not. They don't have a explicit engineering criteria on when they go in and when they don't. That might be.
That'd be something that could be left up to us locally to decide if we wanted to put those in.
Well, and even if we just had something flashing that somebody could punch a button so it gets
Those are the.
driver's attentions. Literally, I witnessed a water truck the other day about muck out some people crossing the street. He literally locked them up and smoked the tires.
And when we did talk to him about that, we'd have to eliminate some of the crossings if we went to the rapid flashing beacons. Like we would have to probably just have, one going across and then.
Well, that seems to be the worst place in the whole stretch.
Right.
Is right there at Bridge and First.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm talking about it, how we have like that 4 triangle going on. We would want just one crossing right there. North and south, not 2 crossings on First Street.
Oh, okay.
So people aren't crossing right here at the rapid flashing beacon, and then we got people trying to run across the same time going the other way.
Right.
Yeah, like you said, it's kind of vague, but there was a lot of latitude for us to decide whether or not we wanted to do that.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, Emery.
Go any further on that one, or?
No, that answers my questions and I can get back to them and let them
Well,
know.
initially, we we're kind of waiting on is it 29 project, the bulb outs?
Yeah, and that's kind of what that was, Ralph's with Whiteout's big thing is kind of wait and see what that does. When they come in and mill and overlay, they'll redo the ADA ramps and put the bulb.
What's the
outs.
time frame on that? When are they looking to do
We're on the
that?
docket for 2029.
So it is 4 years down the road.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, and as this town gets busier and busier and busier, it used to be we had tourists from here to here. Now seems like that keeps getting extended.
I would be more of a proponent of something like that than like doing flags.
Oh,
Like that.
definitely. Yeah, a flashing beacon of some sorts would be at least something to bring attention to drivers.
I actually noticed that since Sinclair the other day, and they have one set up right there by Sukasa, which surprised me to have it Sinclair, but with all the truck traffic, it makes sense.
Well, that's
Right there at 7th and.
all back and forth.
Yeah.
Between there. Sense.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's definitely something that needs to be addressed. and
Addressed.
looked at.
I agree.
I
I almost feel bad stopping for somebody on my side because I feel like I'm setting those people up for failure. Cause they see that I stop and they start crossing and then,
hopefully
the other side may not be paying attention. And literally that happened in front of me the other day where I stopped, they started to cross and they were at Coyote. They started to cross and there was a water truck coming, a semi truck. And he literally locked him up at about high-tech shop.
I mentioned that just today to a scooter rider if one side stops, you make sure the other side
Right,
stops.
right.
before you.
Okay, thanks for your report, Emery. Okay, we'll move on to Recreation Commission.
We had a meeting the other night. There was a little bit of discussion. Ms. Carnes come in and read her letter that she'd read to us and gave the rec board the opportunity to press, some of the things that she brought to us at the last meeting. Other than that, there really wasn't much. They discussed, softball and how that went. There's looking at maybe some rule changes and stuff before they do softball next year. I guess there was some discrepancy on rules towards the end of the season, but it was not much.
Okay. Any questions for Bob? Okay, we'll move on to the Saratoga Airport Board. Miss Brenda.
There was discussion about event security for the airport, so how to do that. They had, the whiteout cameras have been installed. And the board chose, and there should be in the packet, I think, the picture, the sign that they're gonna have. The entrance, you can choose one. They discussed the tumbleweeds at the south, who will take care of it. They're talking about having the manager. That improved the bylaws, but they tabled the airport manager job description for the next. They discussed the ramp overnight use and FBO was good. They approved the DBT transportation fuel contract for that. The engineers discussed the master plan and they're gonna be having a TAC meeting for that. Let's see, the landing fees for August were the most they've ever had, $36,725. And he estimated for the year that they should get about $170,000 is what Larry is estimating it right now. Honda did back out, so Honda Racing won't be up there. I guess the Mexico City race was canceled and that's one they were testing for, high altitude. And the police will be doing training in the airfield this winter.
We talked about doing some EV, emergency vehicle operations training using the tarmac when there's no airplanes.
And that was it, that's all I've got.
You weren't here at the last meeting. Honda come in, they were gonna do.
I was here at the meeting.
Meeting for that one.
Anyways, darn it.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to that. So. Any questions? What did the board decide on paying that for the security? The board's gonna pay them direct? Or the airport?
They really decided I'm gonna talk about that.
Security for what?
What do you mean for this last time?
Yeah,
Yeah, they are gonna pay him. They have to pay him each individual.
It was cut out of the airport fund. The board was not paying it. The town had to pay it out of the airport board fund.
right. But they approved it to come out of their fund, right?
Yes, they did.
Okay. Well, they didn't think they wanted security and then the last minute, John was contacted and they wanted security.
For the Honda deal?
No,
Oh, this is for-
this is when the conquistadors were here, so John got it together and covered them with security and it'll all be 1099 to each individual officer.
Off-duty officers went and sat up there from 6 PM to 6 AM.
Any other questions? They are working too on their bylaws and
They did pass the bylaws that.
they did pass their bylaws,
It's just the, what was it?
managers
Yeah, that we're gonna discuss more on the manager.
on how they do a manager because there's nothing documented, you know. They wanted us to possibly do something and nothing's documented and so we put it back on them, take care of it. Any questions? Okay,
Can we get an approval of that invoice?
oh, yes, they do. They have an invoice. That's something I got questions. This sign is the one I heard there, not the one in the pack. This is the sign they're going with. The other one that they talked about going with was that one that's in the packet. But this is the one they're going with.
Series, I'll turn that design in today, so.
So, and the sign's gonna cost $4,150. So do I have a motion to go ahead and pay Split Mountain Metals? Invoice number 6184, $4,150.
I'd make the motion to pay Split Mountain Metals the invoice for 6184 for $4,150.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We'll move on to the South Central Emergency Medical Service. Their next meeting is October 20th, 2025, 6 PM in Hannah. The minutes are in the packet if somebody would like to read them. Okay. Any other questions? I have a motion to go into executive session in accordance of Wyoming statute 16-4-405. A, two little eyes and three little eyes.
I'll make the motion to go into executive session.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Emery will be joining us in the executive session. Is there any new business to be brought before the town? Hey, is there any further business from any of you people? Do I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Second,
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Meeting